Guys, hi everyone.
Sorry, we don't know what happened
It
there.
literally just went black. The screen just cut out.
Thank you for staying with us.
Thank you for
Where
coming
were
back.
we? So we were talking about Boris and how, who was it that said he always comes late to give us time?
Reese was saying, yeah, he always gives us a little bit of time though when he's late, just to go, oh, well, yeah, he could have done that, couldn't he?
Can we just have a moment where we can just rage about him and about his decisions? It's like he never learns it. How long have we been saying on here? And here we are. Oh, I have grave concerns about the fact. Well, why didn't you have any before? Oh God! Oh my God!
Well, no. But the bit that
so
can I just say
annoyed.
that the bit that makes me doubly angry is that we will never know to what extent the delegates in the G7 that were taken off. They were taken off and quarantined. Who thought it was sensible to have anyone coming from India when the entire population of your country can see that it's ridiculous?
And I'm just so pissed off with Keir Starmer.
Yeah, where
He
was
should
he
have been
yesterday?
raging for those of us that are raging about that decision.
Yeah, he's providing.
Where is the opposition? Where is there another voice to say what the hell are you playing at?
Heather Rooney, the government don't give a shit about us.
But what do you think was going on in? Okay, like take the anger of it. Why did they do what they did?
Yeah.
And give a week for people to come in so that we had
Yeah,
8
exactly,
planes
exactly.
filled
And everyone
per
was
day.
everyone was kind
All
of.
the airlines were asking for extra flights because there were so many thousands of people trying to get round the quarantine. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you think, Mark?
I literally, I mean, there are some things I can't answer the question.
There are some things
No. I mean, I can't answer a lot of things. What I mean is, I can't even come up with an excuse for
Well,
it.
what do
because
you think? Somebody will come up with something.
It just strikes me as utter
Why?
incompetence.
Why? Other countries did it. Australia, my God, they're good there. They are so smart. They just cut it out. Nope, nobody's coming. That's it.
It's
Not
so
unless you
bizarre.
go into a quarantine hotel. That's the only way you can come in. Why couldn't we do that?
Why did they announce it on a Monday and it didn't happen until the Friday?
But 3 weeks before that, we were watching the horrors of India. We were asking for that way before
I can
they announced it.
only assume that the cost factor. It has to be a cost factor for all of those already
But what is
scheduled
the cost
flights.
going to
No,
be
I know,
now?
I know.
mean, the cost down the road. Kick the can down the road and then get a much higher cost at the end of the bloody road.
Yeah. No,
What do you think, guys?
Why found you? I can't afford another lockdown mentally, and as a business owner, Tracy Golden.
Yeah, of
Boris
course
is a
you
people
can't.
pleaser. He's too worried about.
But who was he pleasing?
Well, the Tories. I mean,
Around that time, he did have an important meeting in India, which was all about Brexit deals and everything, wasn't it? That's what the talk was at the time. I remember on LBC, they were saying, this is something about Boris not wanting to be embarrassed when he goes for this big meeting. And you remember, right up to the last minute, he was still going to that meeting and everyone was going, you can't.
Yeah.
It's raging.
Yeah.
There's a raging variant there.
Yeah.
And then the last minute, he cancelled.
Yeah.
And that was a good... So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it was about 2 or 3 weeks before they actually made the announcement that everyone was saying, when are they going to do it? When are they going to do it? When are they going to stop the flights? And
Yeah.
then we were all gobsmacked when they said, in another 5 days.
Yeah, well, no, I remember when the news landed, I thought, well, this is good. And then it was like, not until Friday. It was like, well, what the fucking hell is the point of that?
But then, there was lots of people that work in the airports, immigration, and they were saying, this happens every time. Every time they call a red zone, they give it a week. The airports get overwhelmed with the amount of people pouring in. And they said, it doesn't matter, India, any country that they put in the red zone. And then we can't separate people properly from coming in from the soon-to-be red zones and the normal zones. So
No, exactly.
everybody's mixing it in the airport.
Yeah. Molly 26 Rose, Keir Starmer has splinters in his arse from fence sitting, and I say that as a paying Labour member. So angry. Yeah,
We
it's
are.
so
We are
disappointing.
Labour voters. He's
so
a
disappointing.
disgrace.
It's a total disappointment. Lee, so bloody done with it
I
all.
know,
Done.
Lee.
DONE. Done. I know what you mean. It's just.
I do have hope. Lee, that article that I sent you in the Times, I really have hope with that. I really think, and I think it's going to be okay. I do think it's going to be okay, but I just think they have to be held accountable for this. Because what if this happens again?
Yeah.
I know everybody's saying, this we were talking about this the other day, weren't we? This investigation, what's it called? Not investigation, when they look into what they've all been doing. What's the word?
Review. Inquiry?
Inquiry. The inquiry that they're saying, you know, we're too busy now, we've got to do the inquiry in a year, and I get that, but I think we need an ongoing inquiry because we don't have an opposition that is holding him accountable for repeating the same mistakes, expecting a different outcome. It's like, it's Groundhog Day. It's insanity.
But it's so bizarre. I mean, this is where an opposition should be saying something. I mean, Football Crazy says the Labour Party is over. I entirely agree.
I think
I
it's
entirely
over.
agree. I think it's over. And I think we are in a really curious situation where we're probably going to have eventually some splinter group in the Tory party that forms the second sort of party for the country because they are literally not representing any of these frustrations. And I accept that as an opposition, you have to, in a national crisis, essentially have some consensus politics. But we're now far enough coming out of the anus of this crisis to be able to say, right, that was stupid, this was stupid. Don't wait until an inquiry. Start pointing the finger now because, you know, on this one especially, I mean, you know, how much can we trust the information that's being released to us about the Indian variant if so many people at the top can quite quickly be pointed at and said, why did you let it in?
Faith Goodman, I couldn't agree more with you. Dr. Boris needs to follow Dr. John Campbell. He needs to be a government advisor. Every single thing he ever says comes true.
Yeah.
He's literally banging his head against the wall with this.
Well, our spleen and our fury and everyone's frustration could lead us quite neatly into one of the stories one of the topics I wanted to talk about, really. I just saw this story of a mass brawl at Luton Airport. Sees thugs kick, punch and batter each other, I shouldn't laugh, with suitcases in front of terrified passengers.
It's horrible to witness.
There's lots of violent skirmishes happening in lots and lots of otherwise normal scenarios. Debenhams, there was a huge fight and a knife was... not Debenhams, Selfridges on Oxford Street.
Yeah.
You know, I mean...
I was going to say, what, Debenhams as well? Because I knew about
Debenhams.
Selfridges.
No, Debenhams was closing. That's the news story around Debenhams. But, you know, and on the roads, the road rage is at a ludicrous height. And even not just road rage, but such cavalier driving. It's like everyone has been let out and is sort of expending their spleen and expressing their fury against each other. Why do you all think? Is anyone else encountering a sort of a low-level fury or a high-level fury? Is anyone else feeling that? Because I certainly feel it from a car perspective on the road. There's just a kind of... It's like the Wild West out there.
But, as you said earlier today...
Pent-up frustration, since Sam Crockett.
Why is anger not being talked about in regards to mental health?
Someone mentioned that yesterday, yeah.
And that's so true, you know. Anger, first of all, is a very valid emotion. It's just when it becomes out of control that it hurts us and hurts others. But it is a valid emotion. And it's not surprising that people are angry. And not everybody has the support or the eloquence to be able to express themselves in a way that's useful.
Or the role models. Or the role models. They haven't learned, you know. I mean, it's that nature-nurture thing, isn't it?
So this is going to happen. And this is going to happen more and more.
Yeah.
Because people are frustrated and people are angry. And people are sad. And people are frightened. And sometimes all of those emotions can come out as rage. If you have no other way, if you've never been taught how to express it in a different way.
I mean, I you know, and I do, I mean, in a weird way, if you think during lockdown, I think the way anger was being expressed was by sort of pointing at people, naming and shaming people, all that kind of stuff that kind of went through the roof, didn't it? Because we had sanctioned sort of Stasi-ness, didn't we? For often very valid reasons, obviously. But, you know, some people ran at that ability and other people didn't. And I think you said a very interesting point at the beginning of sort of 2 or 3 months into it. You said, in a weird way, the pandemic crisis has just amplified what people essentially are. If you're selfish, you've become more selfish. If you're angry, you've become angrier. But I do think for some people there's a more complicated issue that the whole thing has led to frustration, and then frustration leads, I don't want to sound like Yoda here, but you know, the old anger leads to hate leads to suffering thing. But Charlotte Roberts says, we've noticed a big change in the children's behaviour in nursery this year, definite trauma response to the pandemic, which is interesting. At such a young age where there can be no sort of social consideration for what they're doing. It's just you know, with toddlers and kids, it's a raw expression, isn't it, of emotion. It's like, oh, right, okay, there is pent-upness. And how much of that in our kids will be coming from the parents and how much of, you know, so I think it's an important thing.
A lot of people are you're living very close together, you know, there's teenagers sharing rooms, You know, sometimes there's 3 kids sharing a room. You know, imagine that. Having come out of lockdown, you've had nowhere to just be rageful, and it's spilling out onto the streets. And as you say, parents as well have had to control themselves more than they might want to in home. And so a lot of people that don't normally have a short fuse now have a massive... I mean, you've got some people that have always dealt with their feelings and with their problems with anger, but I think you've got people that normally wouldn't.
Yeah.
And hey, Menzie B, nice to see you, new to the
Listen
channel.
to this. Pauline Corish says arranged fights between teenagers. Arranged fights.
Why is it so dark? Is it my eyes?
Because you turned it down. Yeah. Arranged fights between teenagers. What, like orchestrated and organised fights? Then the woman that was pushed under a train by a gang of teens entertaining themselves.
No.
Oh my god.
In Ireland this was.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Angie Knowles, my anger is to do with having an angry partner, forever ranting and raving, and my menopause is innate. Well, that's
sweetie.
interesting. Oh,
That's really...
Gigi. Gigi. One of the dogs is dreaming, bless her.
And can you hear her?
Yeah.
Angie, I don't know if you've seen any of our chats about menopause, and I don't know whether you've thought about HRT, but please go to the menopause doctor's website and have a read, because you don't need to be suffering.
Yeah. Tracy Mayhook, stress and anxiety seems the alternative to anger, so raging sometimes probably does some good. This is important. So, you know, anger management isn't always about compressing or controlling anger. Sometimes it's about letting it. I mean, there are
But
lots
it's
of...
finding a way to do it,
it doesn't
so
damage
that
others.
you don't damage others.
Me too. People are trying to make up for lost time. It's illogical. You're not getting that time back.
No, you can't. That's such a good point. You
That's
don't.
a really valid point.
It's like Mark this morning slept in a bit.
Yeah.
So now, instead of enjoying sleeping in, all he's doing is worrying about whether he's going to have enough time. And it's that... it's...
Get out.
It's like we have to be where we are right now. And we've talked about this before. It's like the whole thing with kids. We've got to get them to catch up for that last year. It's too...
Yeah.
That's just insane.
Yeah.
We had a bit of a pause for a year, and now we just carry on, pick up where we left off.
RM's Jams is missing your cooking films. Yeah, there hasn't been a million minutes for a while, has there?
There's going to be one today.
Rachel Lucy, I'm finding people are more argumentative. I believe it's due to the pandemic. Pauline Corish, it's definitely connected to the pandemic. Anya Lynch, the girl got pushed under a train in Ireland by a group of fellas. She knew their brother tried to avoid them and they pushed her, and he walked off like he'd done nothing wrong, caught on camera.
Oh my
Did she die?
God.
That's awful.
This is horrific.
Devon B, I was worried before, I'm much worse now, feeling the impact of stress on the body. It has a major impact. Yeah, and there is
really
that. Yeah,
does.
you're absolutely right. And I mean, you know, look, here's the thing, guys. You know, we're creatures. And I think sometimes there's enormous pressure under us, on us. And I'm fascinated to learn about this more in psychotherapy. There's an enormous amount of pressure on us to be able to rationalise everything. There's enormous pressure on us to explain everything and control everything and keep a lid on everything. And then we get surprised when there's an outward expression of fury. I mean, I don't want to use this analogy, but it's an apt one. It's a little bit like the Israeli-Palestinian crisis. If you contain and constrain someone or something for so long, at some point it's going to bite. There's going to be a lash out. There's going to be something.
Also, it's human.
You know, it's human nature. So at what point is human nature something we need to sort of allow? You know, it's a tricky balancing act in a civilized society to allow the expression of spleen and fury.
Two things.
So-
First, Elizabeth Gordon. You look better though, Mark. Fresher from having slept.
Oh, there you go.
You do look so much better. You've dropped like 5 years. So enjoy it. Don't panic about it all day long. Laura S. We have the perfect balance of our freedom and restrictions protecting us at the moment. Why change? It's safer. I think we have the perfect balance too, Laura. I think, you know, if they come and say June 21st, you know, it's going to be held up for a bit. For me personally, I know for lots of people it's very important for their jobs that it's not. But for me personally, I can cope with that if we need to just stay a bit longer to avoid another lockdown. Yeah. What I just want is my friend Lee to get his job back and the audience to be back on Lee Swimming.
which I'm really confused about, because
Could
there was a
happen
big...
without the June 21st lifting of restrictions.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm also confused about, because there was a huge story on my Deadline sort of PA Hollywood TV film news feed saying that a number of shows, such as the Jonathan Ross show, were getting audiences back in.
Well, I mean, the theatres are back, and the thing is now,
Yeah.
all businesses can now function from Monday, can't they?
Yeah.
Everything can function. Beauty salons, restaurants, pubs, bars. Yeah. So as long as people can look after their business, can see their family and friends, we can kind of
Yeah.
I mean, what is it? What else is it that happens on June 21st that might not happen now? Is it just the
All
march?
social distancing measures are out the window. I mean, I think that's
Right.
what I think that's you know, by and large,
Right,
everything
so
can return
weddings
to normal
and stuff
from
still
Monday.
can't happen. Yeah,
But I
probably.
think it's all social distancing
Yeah.
regulations can go, and I think
Yeah, weddings and stuff very important.
yeah, but I think even weddings have got bigger
No, but
from Monday. I think
Yeah.
weddings are the number of guests can go up, and
Right.
I mean I do think, and you know we'll be able to sit inside pubs and all that kind of stuff. But you know those final removal of the 1 meter rule. I think that was something we were all desperately kind of disbelievingly thinking. Oh my God, are we going to be back to just the same old, same old? I don't think it's going to be, but I think it's coming. I just think they shouldn't have let it in the first place. But if we're now doing a kind of damage limitation.
Oh, Heather Rooney is getting married on Thursday.
Hey!
Oh, happy wedding, Heather.
Oh, it will be happening, Heather, for sure.
right,
So we've got lots of happy birthdays, but final story, Gogglebox. What's the name of the lovely couple that are leaving? Is it Jenny and Lee are leaving Gogglebox? Oh, Maddie
Why
is...
are they leaving?
It doesn't really say. I kind of scroll down and it doesn't really say. I mean, she's been an absolute hit, hasn't she, with her line of duty noting and all that kind of stuff. But they're Maddie's favourites. And I thought it'd be nice to have a chat about whose people's favourites are. But we're kind of running out of time. Do you have a favourite? Does anyone have a favourite here?
Oh,
What's
well,
your
it's
favourite?
very, very difficult for me. I love them all. For me, every one of them is so important. But
Yeah.
I do always laugh with the odd posh couple.
Well, they're funny, but I tell you who I love is the Blackpool brother and sister.
I love them.
They're so
hilarious.
smart.
But I love the two sisters.
Yeah.
Ellie.
Yeah, they're all right. They don't.
Sometimes when they go a
farm
bit
it.
too crass, I don't like it. But
Yeah.
they do make me
They're
laugh.
all
They all
right.
make me laugh.
Yeah.
The two young girls, not.
Yeah, no, I'm not as
No.
not as intrigued.
I
with
could
them.
do, if I had to lose anyone,
Dave
I
and
would lose
Shirley.
those two.
I like the posh couple, Carol Titmus.
The
love them
Welsh
all.
couple are very funny, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, what makes the show work so well is that you have such a contrast of kind of characters.
It's like with Loose Women, you know, you've got to have that mix.
Yeah,
That's
Marmite.
what makes it.
You've got to have Marmite
You've
in
always, you know, the thought is that every panel there's going to be somebody that people don't like and somebody that people do. You know?
MeTube's just made a very interesting meta observation, which I've lost now. Something along the lines of, imagine if Gogglebox had started watching this channel, would be in a Gogglebox paradox.
I love that Gogglebox.
Gogglebox paradox. Okay, well, here we go. So a couple of, happy birthday to Julie. We're going to let Nadia roll with this. Happy birthday to Julie.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Julie. Happy birthday to you.
Patrick Foley. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to
to
you.
Happy birthday, dear Patrick. Happy birthday to you.
Gemma Crutchlow.
Happy birthday, Gemma Crutchlow. Happy birthday, Gemma Crutchlow. Happy birthday, Gemma Crutchlow. Happy birthday to you.
And I think this is a belated one to Nadia Cowser.
Xander's all right. Just noticed Xander's not here.
Nadia Cowser. I'm in touch with him. He's fine. Nadia Cowser. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Nadia. Nadia.
Happy birthday to you. My namesake.
And two welcomes to Abby Reed. You do Abby and I'll do Jasmine.
Welcome, Abby Reed. Welcome, Abby Reed. Is it Reed?
Yeah.
Oh, I better start again. Welcome, Abby Reed.
So much
Welcome,
better.
Abby Reed. Welcome to our family guest area. Welcome, Abby Reed.
Jasmine Levy.
Jasmine Levy.
Jasmine Levy. We hope you don't end up leaving Levy. Guys, have a lovely day. We'll see you on the morrow. Something will be landing later and it'll be fun and it'll be silly and it'll be stupid.
Lots of love.
Bye.